Hello students. So in previous class we have discussed about the credit in the financial system up to the topic of the variety of credit arrangements. So we have seen example of a village. So today we are going to discuss the topic in the same chapter, the formal and informal sources of credit in our India. So what are the above examples? In last video they have given, we have seen that the people are taking the loans from the various sources, different sources. So what the various types of loans, it has been divided into formal and informal loans. Among the formal loans, what we can see the loans it will be get from the banks and the cooperative societies which are there. From that we can get the loans. So it is formal. What is coming to the informal? The informal loans includes what they will take the loans from the money lenders or any traders, employers, relatives, friends, etc. All this comes under the informal loans. So here you have a pie chart. So in this pie chart, what we can see here, we can see the various sources of credit to rural households in our India. So what are the credit sources they are giving to the rural householders? So out of every 100 rupee of credit required by the rural families, the rupees 25 there are available from the commercial bank to the people of whom, to the rural families, they are providing 25 rupees available from the commercial banks. So beside the banks, the other source is also there. It is a cheap credit in the rural areas is the cooperative societies or cooperatives. So there are several types of cooperative societies. What is that? Examples such as farmers cooperatives and weavers cooperatives, etc. So like this, different types of cooperatives are there. So you will also notice that money lenders are an important section of informal credit providers in our India. So formerly the farmers and the other society like weavers, so like this people, they will take the loans from the informal process. But the informal process is also it will plays a major role in our Indian country. So the next is new initiatives. So what are the new initiatives we got in our country? So the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, it has been taken the steps. For what purpose? For to the improvement of the financial access, to provide the improvement of about the financial access to the people who are living in the rural areas. So the banks operate in rural areas. Either how they will operate in the rural areas, either they have the branches or else through the business correspondence. So what is a business correspondent? Is an approved bank. What is it? It is an approved bank and the agent providing the basic banking services. He will provide in the rural areas the basic bank services. It is approved by the government, and by using what? By using a micro ATM. It is nothing but terminal. So these business correspondents, what they will do in the rural areas, they will encourage the people in rural. For what purpose? And what they will do, they will remote areas to open bank accounts in their banks and save money, and also use loans facilities provided by the banks. So this correspondents, they will they will encourage the rural people to take the accounts in their banks, and to what are the facilities the bank is providing, such as loans, they will say to the people to utilize it. And the biometric smart cards identification systems also, these banks are used for opening the accounts. Aadhaar Enabled Payment System, AEPS. So what is it? We will discuss it. So AEPS, it is a new payment service. It is offered by the National Payments Corporation of India. It is nothing but NPCI. So to banks, the financial institutions, they are using the Aadhaar number and online authentication through their respective business correspondent service centers. So for this authentication, what they need, the customer needs his or her bank account linked to their Aadhaar number first of all. Then with the bank offering the, then only the bank will offer the AEPS services to the customers. And a customer can at present avail the following 4 services by using this AEPS service through the micro ATMs. What is that? First of all, what are the services? Cash withdrawal, cash deposit, and balance inquiry and fund transfer. These 4 aspects, these 4 services the customer can use here. So the RBI ensures that the banks gives loans not just to profit making businesses and traders but also to small cultivators, small scale industries, to the small borrowers, etc. So the RBI will definitely make sure that they are not giving the loans for their own profit. They will provide the loans not only to the big businessmen or traders, but also they will provide the loans to the small cultivators who are there and the small scale industries, small borrowers who are there. For everyone they will provide the loans. So besides the RBI, there is another organization. What is it? The National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, the NABARD. So this organization is also have the facilities of formal credit organizations in the rural India. It will also provide the loans for the agricultural and the rural people. So even though the amount of bank loans given for agriculture have been increased in the recent years. So in recent years, the loans which are providing for the agriculture, it has increased. A considerable section of farmers still do not have access to the bank credit. So in the year of 2011, there were how much? The 14 crores of farmers in our India. Out of this, only 5.3 crores of farmers had agriculture loan accounts. Only how much? It means the 2/3 of the farmers, they did not got the loans. So from the 14 crores, they only 5.3 crore agriculture peoples, they got the loan accounts. So this means that more than how much? 2/3 of the farmers, they do not have the access to the bank loan facilities. So these nearly how much? The 9 crores farmers, they have to rely on informal sources of credit, such as from where they have to go, money lenders and traders. So remaining 14 crores, the remaining people who did not got the loan accounts in the banks, definitely for source for money, what they have to do, they have to go in the informal process. So where they will get from the informal sources, they will get this informal sources of credit money from the money lenders who are there in the villages and the big traders who are they are ready to give the money. So they charge what? The exorbitant rates of interest, as you have seen in the earlier example. So they will what they will do, they will give the money for the more rate of interest, as we discussed in the last examples. Coming to the next topic, what is that? The formal and informal credits. It means in this formal and informal credits, who gets what? It means who will get how much of profit or loss. What is that? We will see now. So there is no organization that monitors and regulates the credit activities of lenders in the informal sector. So we have discussed informal sector. What is informal sector? Which the money has taken as a credit from the money lenders or the traders. So that comes under the informal sector. So in that, there is no any particular organization. Like in formal sector, we have banks and cooperative societies. So coming to the informal sectors, there is no any such organization which will monitors and regulates these informal sector activities. So they are able to lend whatever interest rate they can force upon the people. So what this informal people will there is no organization, so that's why they will select their own rates, and they will force upon the people who are taking money as a borrow from them. So there are some major differences credit providers operate in India. So there are some differences in between what the formal and the informal credit providers operate in our India. What is that? The formal credit providers follow particular rules, certain rules and regulations which are given by the government, and in particular the RBI, and they also expect their clients also to follow certain procedures. So what is the major difference here in formal and informal? In the formal, the people who are there, who are working in the banks, so the bank will follow certain rules and regulations which have given by the government, and the clients also who are there in that bank, they have to follow all the rules and regulations, must procedures. So coming to the informal credit providers who are there, they won't follow any rules and regulations such as and the government which is not required for the informal credit providers also, so they won't follow any rules and regulations. So when the borrower is unable to repay his loan money as per the agreed terms, so the formal credit providers who are there, they can't use any illegal ways to get back the money. It is in the case of formal only. Whereas coming to the informal, the credit providers, what they will do, if in case the farmer is not able to repay the loan back within the time, what they will do, they will use the illegal ways to getting the money back. So which money back at times leads to borrowers committing suicides also. So the money lenders who are there, they will use the illegal ways, so like that they will force on the people. So at that time what the people will do, some of the people will they are committing to suicides also because of the illegal ways. So compared to the former lenders, most of the informal lenders charge a much high rate of interest on loans. Yes, it is true. We will see in our daily life, right? If we go to the bank in a formal way, then if we compare to the outside money lenders, they will charge a higher rate of interest as we compare it to the bank. So this means that the cost to the borrower of informal loans is very much higher here. So many states have rules and regulations, and they have laws for what purpose? To protect its people from the informal credit providers, such as who are the informal credit providers here? Money lenders. For what? From which they have to protect? From charging a high rate of interest. So these laws not sufficient to make the money lenders charge low interest rates, but they are not yet to be enforced effectively. So here the higher cost of borrowing, it is nothing but a large part from our earnings of the borrowers is used to repay the loan. So that's why the borrowers has less income left in their savings from themselves. So in these cases, like this, in certain cases, what will happen? The higher rate interest of borrowing, it can mean that the amount to be repaid in greater than the income of the borrower. So like this, borrowing from the money lenders, what will happen? Their interest will be more as than the actual amount which have taken from the money lenders. So it is loss to them only. So this could lead to what? It can lead to the increasing the debit to the borrower. In fact, the people who might wish to start an enterprise by borrowing may not to do so because of the higher cost of borrowing. So some people have the interest to start on a business enterprise, so they will also stop there. It means they won't able to make this enterprise because they don't have such money and they are fear about borrowing money at the higher cost of interest. So for these reasons, what the banks and all the cooperative societies need to lend more. This would lead to higher incomes because why? Because the many people could then borrow cheaply from a variety of different needs. So they could grow crops, do business, set up small scale industries, etc. All this they can do if the banks provides loans to each and every persons. So they could set up their own industries and they can engage, it means busy in their business activities, and the cheap affordable credit for set for the crucial for the country's development also. So the rich households are availing the cheap credit from the formal lenders, whereas the poor households who are there, they have to pay a heavy price for the borrowing from the informal sources. So by this, the rich people who are there, they are getting the credits from the formal lenders. Coming to the poor people, they are getting the are not getting the credit from the formal. That's why they have to pay the heavy price of interest by for borrowing from the informal sources. So by this, what we have understood, what do all this suggest? First, the formal sector still meets only about half of the total credit needs of the rural people. The remaining credit needs are through the informal sources only. Why? Because most of the loans which have taken from the informal lenders, they have very high interest rates and do little to increase in the incomes of the borrowers. So that's why it is necessary that banks and all the cooperative societies, they have to increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas. Why this? All the financial problems, the rural area people, they will suffer more. So that's why they have to provide all the facilities. The banks should provide all the facilities, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence on the informal sources of credit, it will be reduces. And secondly, while formal sector loans need to expand, it is also necessary that everyone should receive the loans from the banks. At present, what is happening? It is the richer households only who will receive formal credit. Coming to the poor people, they won't receive. Coming to the poor people, they are completely depending upon the informal sources only. That's why it is important to that the formal credit is distributed equally among the people. They should provide all the loans equally among all the people. They should not see the differences between the rich and poor, so that the poor people can also benefit from the cheaper loans. So here you have a table. The following table is showing that how the urban families who are there, they are borrowing from two sources in the year of 2003 in percentages. So we will read this table carefully. What it is there? First one, description of the borrower householders. So who are that? Poor households, households with few assets, well-off households, and rich households. So we will see in the difference of formal credit in percentage and informal credits in percentage. At last, total credit. So coming to the poor households, how much percentage in the formal process? 15 percentage. Coming to the informal, 85. And in households with few assets, we can see 47 percentage in formal and 53 percentage in informal. And well-off households, 72 percentage in formal and informal is 28. And rich households, they are getting 90 percentage in formal, and coming to informal, it is about 10 percentage. So who are rich households and well-off households who are there, they are getting more percentage in the formal credit if we observe in the table. But coming to the poor who are there, they are getting very less percentage in the formal. Coming to informal, the rich people who are there, well-off households and rich households who are there, they are getting less percentage in the informal credit, and poor peoples and households who are there, they are getting more percentage in informal credit. So like differences we can see here. So completely if we come to the total, then 100%. So from 100%, they have divided this formal and informal. So what this table is showing, it is showing the share of formal and informal sources for the people who are living in the urban areas. So these people includes both rich and poor households. So you can see that how much percentage of the credit needs of the poor households from the informal sources, and formal sources of credit account for only how much percentage. So comparing to this and rich households, what we are finding, only percentage of their loans are from the informal sources, while here you have a blanks. How much percentage is formal sources? So you will find a similar pattern in the rural areas. So here you have fill in the blanks. In the picture it is showing, no, near percentage you have the fill in the blanks. So fill that blank with the percentage how much it have given in the table. So 1 2 3 4, the 4 blanks are there. So fill that blanks and send in the homework. So the remaining topic we will discuss in the next class.